and the histology. The histology, anatomy, and the embryology. And you have passed all in the histology. So the pathology will use those prerequisites of anatomy and histology. So in the summary, let us see the main content of general pathology. For the general pathology, we see the introduction and the method of pathology. Method of pathology, it is those techniques used in the tissue preparation, using routine, stain, special stain, immunohistochemistry, and the others. So there will be cell injury, cell adaptation, acute inflammation, tissue repair and regeneration. You're going to see them. Hemodynamic, some genetic disorders, immunopathology, some abnormal deposit like calcification. And then we're going to see what we call neoplasia. Neoplasia here, it means the abnormal cell growth, where we see the carcinogenesis, the mechanism of cancer development in the human body, where we see the type of cancer, the etiology of the cancer, and the molecular basis of cancer. As we have seen in the histology, pathology also has practical work. Technology techniques, tissue preparation, and then presentation of the about teaching. It's the same as in the histology. There will be online learning module. And then there will be lab practicals. And this year, I'm going to focus on the practicals. We'll have 1 week for practice. You're familiar with that? As in pathology, there are so many images. So there will be mixed question with some images and short answer question. About the reference, the main book we use, it is known as Robbins. This one, Robbins, is very big to compare to the content of the model. So I will share with your leaders on the email because it is very heavy to be uploaded on the Moodle system. So for the teaching team, there will be me, Dr. Muson Emir. There will be Berson Guzangoga. Dr. Emir Karingan is not available now, but he will be replaced by Dr. Mugabe Fiacre, who is at the Rwanda Military Hospital. Me and Berson we are together at Seashika. So in summary, this is the module presentation. So now let's see the module delivery. I apologize, I'm using the old UR logo, I will correct it. So we'll see some introduction of pathology that we're going to see today. There will be cell injury, cell adaptation, necrosis, apoptosis, and inflammation, acute and chronic, tissue repair and renewal and regeneration, hemodynamic disorders. Then after that, we'll have a cut. After that, we'll continue with the neoplasia. Cytology. Then after that, neoplasia, there will be cut 2 on the neoplasia. After that, there will be disease of infants, environmental and nutrition disease, and then practical session. If we have the time, we will add some immunopathology, but I'm not sure. At the end, there will be final exam. Final exam, there will be no images. It will be short answer question. But in the cut, it will be mixed. Short answer question and images. So now let's see the introduction to pathology. Any question about that presentation of the module delivered? Any question? Any question? Any question?
No.
Okay. Okay, now let us see the introduction to pathology. Pathology literally means from the ancient Greek, it is the study of the disease by scientific method. Yes. It is not shared. Okay. Is it shared? Hello?
Yes.
Is it shared? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good. So, literally, pathology means study of the disease. It means that in pathology, we'll see all disease of human body. So, pathology focuses on the following: etiology, cause of the disease; pathogenesis, mechanism of the disease, meaning that the physiopathology; morphologic changes like gross and microscopic appearance of cells in the tissue, and then functional consequence of those morphological changes with those clinical manifestation of the disease and the prognosis of the disease. So pathology focus on those issues of causes, pathophysiology, morphologic changes, and then clinical and predicting the prognosis of the disease. So, in summary, the core of science of pathology is the study of the disease and their pathogenesis. Morphologic changes, this one is on microscopy, and it is the heart of diagnostic pathology, meaning that we give the diagnosis by interpretation of the slide. So the pathology focus on the diagnosis. This one I have seen. So the content of pathology, there's general pathology, where we see the fundamental cellular and tissue response to pathologic stimuli. Example, what we're going to see those cell injury, adaptation, and others. Whereas in systemic pathology, we'll see the organ by organ, system by system. For example, you see the hematopathology.
Sorry,
Yes.
the slides are not changing.
You don't see them.
They are not changing now. They remain on the first one.
Do you see this one? Okay. Is it okay? You see now this one? Okay. So in summary, pathology is the bridge between basic medical sciences and clinical practice. Basic medical science, anatomy, physiology, and histology. And clinical practice, it is like those surgeons in pediatrics and the others. So the pathology is that bridge between those basic sciences and clinical practice, meaning that in the pathology, to know the basic medical sciences and then clinical practice. Some people, they think because it is so they don't pathology, they don't know clinical features. No. In the pathology, you have to know clinical features because clinical features will help you for the lab diagnosis to correlate to see in the lab and the clinical features. So there are several branches of pathology. The mainly there are clinical pathology and anatomic pathology. In the clinical pathology, there is what you call immunology, genetics, biochemistry, microbiology, toxicology, hematology. These are clinical Anatomic pathology, there is histopathology, cytopathology, and forensic. And sometimes hematology is found in both anatomic and clinical pathology. So the method of pathology study, we have seen some in histology. There is in pathology what we call autopsy. Autopsy is a sample from a dead body. This one it is to identify the cause of death. So those forensic it is found in pathology. Biopsy and cytology. And in research, there is what we call experimental pathology. Like those animal experiments in vivo and in vitro, tissue and cell culture. So don't be surprised when you say there is a tissue culture. Don't be surprised when there is to examine a dead body in autopsy. Cytology in case of screening of cervical cancer, study of the body fluid, this one we use cytology. And the biopsy is when you take a tissue on living body. For example, here they are performing autopsy. They are examining internal organs. The investigation is focused for the cause of death. It may be medical or legal purposes. Medical, it is when you look for the cause of death in the hospital. For example, in the legal purpose, it is when they found a cadaver in the road, then they send the cadaver for examination for legal purpose. All of that autopsy is to clarify the nature of many disease, determine the cause of the death, and to count of disease incidence. There are some countries where they do mandatory autopsy for all dead bodies. But in our culture, Rwandan culture, we don't like to do an autopsy, except in the case of legal purpose. So this one it is one example of a biopsy. This one it is for render diagnosis by examination of tissue removed from living body. Biopsy is different from autopsy. Autopsy is from dead body. Biopsy is from living body. Role of the biopsy it is to give the diagnosis, to guide the therapy, and to give the prognosis. We will see in the case of breast cancer, when they remove a sample from a breast, we examine, then you say it is a breast cancer. Then we predict the therapy, then we say for the treatment we use this kind of therapy. And then we give the prognosis by staging that cancer. This one we see it. A cytology, it is a single cell or clumps of cells dissociated from their surrounding tissue. For example, examination of the sputum, urine, and abdominal fluid. Here you see they are performing the cytology of the sputum in the lab. For this one, you can find if it is a TB or another infectious disease. Here it is a cell. In the case of screening of cervical cancer, they do what we call pap smear. This is the cell, this is the cytoplasm. In this one, it is the nucleus. Animal experiment. You see this one. Before performing animal experiment, you must inject the anesthesia because there is what we call animal rights. As we have human rights, there is also animal rights. It doesn't mean because it is an animal, you have to do what you want on the animal. There is some regulation about the animal experiment. For example, if you wanted to inject some cancer cells on this animal, we have to respect the regulation. There are some countries even they don't allow researchers to do this, to do the research on the animals. For example, this one, mouse has been injected by the cancer cells. This is why here you see the tumor. Here they're performing cell and tissue culture. In our lab now, we don't have the lab equipped for tissue culture. Even for animal experiment, we don't have. Maybe with the development of the country, we'll have it because it is useful for research. For example, if you want to test medicine, if you want to know the clinical manifestation of the disease, some changes in the diagnosis, we have to do the animal and the tissue culture. So the technique used in pathology, we have seen it. Lutein storage using H&E, hematoxin and eosin, for those who don't remember. Cytology, autopsy, some special stain, immunohistochemistry, cell culture, and the molecular biology techniques. For example, PCR, polymerase chain reaction, fluorescence in situ hybridization, and the DNA microarray and the others. Those techniques of molecular biology are also used in the pathology. So now the development of pathology, they focus on the immunology, cytogenetics, and the molecular analysis of tissue. Tests are increasing, become going to the lander diagnosis, and thus access and suggest therapy. Now the modern medicine, it is about the molecular medicine, how to collect genes, use gene therapy. This one is the modern medicine because some disease they have some gene modification. So to treat them, you have to collect the gene, what you call a gene therapy. This is why when you found a cancer, blood cancer, we do molecular techniques to see some mutation in that cancer, to see if that mutation, is it hereditary or non-hereditary. This is a modern medicine. So, any question about the introduction? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question?
No.
So, as you are still in the basic sciences, my suggestion is that for pathology, you have to review the anatomy, histology, and physiology, and some molecular biology. Now let us see the cell adaptation and cell injury. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let us see the cell injury and the cell adaptation. They say cell constantly adjusts structure and function to accommodate changing demand and extracellular stress. within a narrow range of physiological parameters. This is what we call homeostasis, the normal physiology. But when there is physiological stress or pathologic stimuli, the cell undergo what we call adaptation to that stress. For example, if for our skin there is
Lecture.
sunlight, yes.
Don't see the slide.
Sorry?
Don't see the slide.
Sorry?
The PowerPoint, we are not seeing it.
It is not shared.
Yes.
Is it shared?
Yes.
So we have seen that homeostasis is that a normal physiological range, normal physiology. But there's some physiological stress and pathologic stimuli you can see when you have malaria, when you have TB, when you have a cancer. Some physiological stress you can say is, for example, sunlight on the skin, UV light, alcohol consumption, smoking. These are some stress on the human body. So when there is a permanent stress, the cell look for adaptation to that stress. I can give you one example for those who are heavy drinkers. When they drink that local beer called Kanyanga, for the first time it is like a burn in the esophagus. Then after 3 years, 2 years, there will be no burn in the esophagus. And they call in your local language yarayimenyereye. So when there is that yarayimenyereye, it means that there is a cell adaptation. It doesn't mean that yarayimenyereye, but that alcohol is killing some cells of the esophagus or stomach. In that case, they change their morphology because of that stress. So they say if adaptive capacity is exceeded, the cell injuries develop. Injury, it can be irreversible or reversible. For example, irreversible injury like a cell death. This one is due to the persistent stress. There are some reversible injury. You're going to see them. For example, this one, the muscle, the normal muscle here, there's a muscle of the heart, myocardial. This one normal. This one it is injured, and this one it is irreversible. So there are 4 types of adaptation. This one it is a take-home message. This one you must know: atrophy, hypertrophy, hyperplasia, and metaplasia. This one is a take-home message. Atrophy, there is a decrease in cell size. Hypertrophy, an increase in cell size. Hyperplasia, an increase in the number of cells. Whereas metaplasia, this one complicated, one adult cell type is replaced by another cell type. For example, a cell, normally it is squamous, then after it become columnar. Then the columnar will become squamous. Some columnar will have also goblet cells. This is what we call metaplasia. There is a change of the morphology due to the change in the genetic material of that cell. Atrophy, I've seen it is the shrinkage in the size of the cell by loss of cell substance. The cause are decreased workload. For example, if you have you seen the muscle of those heavy is developed? But when it doesn't work, there will be atrophy, decrease of workload. Denervation, in case of polymyelitis, diminished blood supply, inadequate nutrition, the loss of endocrine stimulation, and aging. This one can cause atrophy. If you see your muscle and compare the muscle of your grandfather and grandmother, it is not the same. So, in summary, it is that decrease of cell substance, which can be hormonal or mechanical due to mechanical mediators. Type of those atrophy, malnutrition atrophy, brain atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is deposit of fat inside the blood vessels. This one can occur in starvation or inadequate protein calorie nutrition. Compressive atrophy like hydronephrosis, hydrocephalus. This one it is excessive accumulation of fluid in the kidney, excessive accumulation of fluid in the brain. Disuse atrophy like a limb immobilized for healing of bone fracture, there will be skeletal muscle atrophy. Innervation like case of polymyelitis, endocrine, loss of STH stimulation. This one I have seen it in physiology. There is atrophy of adrenal cortex. For example, this one is a brain, this one there is a cerebral atrophy. Normally, cerebellum must be like this, here like this one. But what you see here, it is very small. This is a normal muscle. This is an atrophic skeletal muscle. This is endocrine atrophy in menopause. Those endometrial gland becomes cystic. This is an indication of endocrine atrophy. For example, this thymus, this involution of the thymus, those are corpuscle, if you remember in history. Atrophy, an increase in the size of the cell, tissue, and organ. The cause are an increased functional demand. When you do more exercise, there will be muscle hypertrophy. Some special hormone stimulation. The mechanism is an increased synthesis of structural component of the cell. It can be hormonal or compensatory. Hormonal, it is massive growth of uterus during pregnancy. In this one, there will be endometrium will have hypertrophy. Compensatory hypertrophy, it is left ventricle undergoes hypertrophy in case of hypertension, arterial hypertension. This one, it is a normal uterus. This one, it is in case of hypertrophy. This is myocardial hypertrophy on the ventricle of the heart. This is the normal heart, and this is hypertrophy of ventricles. Hyperplasia is an increased number of cells by by mitosis, and an increase in size in organ in tissue. It can be also compensatory. Hormonal in case of endometrial hyperplasia. This one is proliferation of endometrial gland. The other one is the stroma of the female and the uterus at puberty and pregnancy, meaning that in the case of the puberty, there will be endometrial gland proliferation. Even for the breast, compensatory is hyperplasia of hepatocyte occur when a portion of the liver is removed. For example, when they remove one part of the liver, what we call a hepatectomy. The remaining part can regenerate by hyperplasia. This is the normal endometrium. These are the endometrial gland. This is the stroma. This is in the case of hormonal hyperplasia. If you compare this one, for this one you can see a stroma. Distinct gland and stroma. But for this one, you see on gland. It is like there is no stroma. So this one is the endometrial hyperplasia. And endometrial hyperplasia, it is not good in menopause. When it is in menopause, there is predisposed to have cancer. This is hormonal hyperplasia in case of prostate. About over 55 years, there is prostate hyperplasia in men. So in men, the worry is prostate hyperplasia. In the female, the worry is endometrial hyperplasia, because persistence of those hyperplasia can lead to cancer. This is an image of prostate hyperplasia. Mechanism, we have said there is an increase of mitosis, then cell number, but there is no differentiation, meaning that don't change the morphology. There is relationship between hypertrophy and hyperplasia. Non-dividing cells most of the time respond by hypertrophy. They say proliferative cells respond by hyperplasia or hypertrophy, or frequently both occur together. For example, in the case of pregnancy, or in the case of the puberty. Now, the most important here, take home message is metaplasia. Metaplasia, we have seen it is one adult cell type is replaced by another. The mechanism, as I have said, there is genetic reprogramming of stem cells. For this one, there is disorganization of the genetic material. This is why there is change in morphology, what we call differentiation. For example, this one, squamous metaplasia. You see here there's some columnar cells, but now they are becoming squamous. So the type of metaplasia is epithelial and mesenchymal. For the epithelial metaplasia, you have squamous metaplasia, intestinal metaplasia, and columnar metaplasia. Let us see the squamous metaplasia. Squamous metaplasia it occurs in a case where a columnar epithelium differentiates into squamous epithelium. For example, in chronic cystitis is an inflammation of the cervix. And chronic bronchitis is the inflammation of the bronchus. Due to that bronchitis, those columnar cells squamous. And this one is called squamous metaplasia. Another one is intestinal metaplasia. One is due to chronic atrophic gastritis. Gastritis is an inflammation of the stomach. Normally, there is no gallbladder cells in the stomach, as we have seen in histology. But when you see gallbladder cells in the stomach, this one it is feature of metaplasia, because normally we see those gallbladder cells in the columnar, in the intestine, small and large intestine. So when we found those gallbladder cells in the intestine, so in the stomach, it is just intestinal metaplasia. Another one is the columnar metaplasia. This one is due to chronic gastric reflux. You know, there's some acid in the stomach, those the chloric acid. Once there is a reflux, those acid will damage the epithelium of the esophagus. Normally, esophagus, the epithelium is squamous. Because of that chronic gastric reflux, there will be the squamous epithelium will become columnar, like this here. So this one is known as metaplasia. Another type of metaplasia is mesenchymal metaplasia. For this one, undifferentiated fibroblast will become osteocyte or chondrocyte. In this one, it is called osseous metaplasia or cartilaginous metaplasia. In the case of chondrocyte, it is cartilaginous. In the case of osteocyte, it is osseous metaplasia. So during the practice, your clinical practice, you will see some calcification in the ovary and the others. But what you must know, this one is layer. The most common is epithelial metaplasia. So what is the significance of metaplasia? It is a double-edged sword. It has an advantage. There can be survival advantage. It can lead to proper treatment. This one metaplasia can lead to cancer. But it is the proper treatment. It is survive because this one it is reversible injury. Any question about the metaplasia and the cell adaptation?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Because I mistake back on the mesenchymal metaplasia because I didn't get it well.
This one mesenchymal metaplasia, it is layer. It is where those fibroblasts, if you remember storage, they become bone or cartilage. So the fibroblast will become osteocytes. This one it is called by modification genetic material of that cell. But is layer. The most common is epithelial metaplasia. For this one, the fibroblast will become osteocyte. When there is the fibers, then it become bone or cartilage. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Another question? So by the practice course, I will bring some image and then you tell me to see if it is intestinal metaplasia or if it is columnar metaplasia. A cell injury. There are several causes of cell injury: oxygen deprivation, hypoxia, and ischemia. Nutritional imbalance, physical agent, chemical agent and drugs, infectious disease, immunologic reaction, and genetic derangement. So those they can cause cell injury. Injury can be reversible or irreversible. Irreversible, there's some necrosis, cell death, and the apoptosis. Both are cell death. One is programmed, another one is not programmed. We'll see it. Now let us see to the reversible cell injury. Is what we call degeneration. Morphologic changes result from non-lethal injury to cells appearing as intra or extracellular, or some accumulation of normal substance or deposition of abnormal substance. Type of reversible injury can see some cellular swelling, fat changes, yarn changes, mucoid amyloidosis, calcification, and some pathological pigmentation deposition in tissue. Cellular swelling is the first manifestation of almost of injury. Hypoxia and the consequences of ATP, the cell are not able to maintain their ion the fluid homeostasis, resulting in the sodium and the chloride influx and the potassium outflow. This is what we call cellular swelling, meaning that there will be accumulation of fluid in the tissue, what we call sometimes edema. Another one is fat changes. This one, it is, if you remember the story of hepatocyte, there is appearance of lipid vacuole in the cytoplasm, instead participating in fat metabolism. It is found everywhere except in fat cells. Occur in toxic metabolic injury. Rest in vasodilatopic changes involves, most of the time it is liver, heart, and the kidney. For those heavy drunkards of alcohol, they have some changes. For example, this one is the normal hepatocyte, and this one vacuolated, like lipid. This one is fat changes, and this one fat changes is reversible. You see this one in the kidney. You can also have fatty changes in the heart. There is another cell injury called hearing changes. It is an intracellular hearing kind of proteins. It can be found in arterial or in some connective tissue. It can be intracellular or extracellular. Intracellular, it is the absorption of protein causing hearing droplet in nanotubules. For example, accumulation of hemoglobin called lucid bodies, plasma cells, or masses of altered intermediate filament called Mallory bodies. Those are found in the plasma cell. For example, this one is the lucid bodies. accumulation of that hyaline proteins. This one filamentous in the plasma cells. It is known as Mallory's body. Here it is hyaline on small of hyaline chains in the connective tissue. Those are like material, those are hyaline. So these are extracellular collagenous fibrous tissue in all the skull. Mucoid generation, this one is position in the connective tissue. For example, this one whitish material is called mucoid. There is another protein called amyloidosis. This one, the position of amyloid fibrils, which are mucopolysaccharide protein complex. Most of the time, amyloidosis, you found it in the kidney and the thyroid. This is that amyloidosis. Pathologic classification can be dystrophic or metastatic. Let us see the difference. Dystrophic, there's a deposit of calcium stored in necrotic tissue, atheroma. Atheroma, it is related to atherosclerosis, deposit of fat in blood vessels. So for dystrophic classification, there is a normal serum level of the calcium. In the absence of derangement in calcium metabolism. Whereas this is that deposit of calcium in the heart. So this is an image. These are calcified material. Those black, these are calcified material. Here, this is a calcified material. Contrary to the dystrophic classification, on this one, there is disturbance in the calcium metabolism leading to hypercalcemia. It is an increased destruction of bone tissue. Metastatic classification affects interstitial tissue of gastric mucosa, kidney, lung, and systemic arteries. There's some pathologic pigment deposition. It refers to the colored substance deposition in cells. There's some carbon tattooing, carbon. Lipofuscin, this one it is found in old tissue. Melanin, hemosidin in the case of hemorrhage, and bilirubin. This is like a chocolate. This one it is melanin pigment in the skin. This is lipofuscin. It is an insoluble brownish yellow granular intracellular material that accumulates in variety of tissue, particularly in the heart, liver, and the brain. And it is a sign of aging and atrophy. Are we together? Are we together? Okay. There was some problem of internet, I don't know.
Yes.
So we said that the lipofuscin is found in atrophy, known as brown atrophy. This is hemosiderin. Hemosiderin is hemoglobin derived granular. This one in tissue. Rose golden brown granules. They're called. This one you see it in your biochemistry. This is hemosiderin in tissue. So this is what we can reverse. Next time we continue with the necrosis, apoptosis, and the inflammation. So as for today, as an introduction, can stop here, and then we prepare next time for cell death, necrosis, apoptosis, and the inflammation. So before we close, any question or any suggestion? Question and suggestion are welcome. Question and suggestion are welcome. Are we together? Question and suggestion are welcome to improve this course of pathology. Question and suggestion. Yeah, there are some links of pathology I will share with you. There are some links of pathology and some exercises for better understanding the pathology. I will share with you. Because you have to read it before lecturing, you can do it yourself exercise for better understanding the pathology. Once you understand your pathology correctly, you will not have a problem in clinical practice, because we will have some basic for clinical manifestation of the disease. Another suggestion or question? Any suggestion or question? Question and suggestion are welcome. So if there are no questions, we can stop here. And remember that next time we see the cell death, necrosis and apoptosis, and the inflammation. Okay. So as usual, you read before lecturing, and I will try my share with you some links of pathology. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you